All praise the Most High. Yah. All praise the King. Praise Jesus. Yeshua. Dishwasher. Or an ogre pen. I got an ogre in the back. But I got a couple of them. But yeah. Yeah, this New Year's feels nice. Went to went to church, had the New Year's, the New Year's sit in. And the the motto for the year is unwavering faith. That's what it is. And the pastor was up there talking about it, and I don't think people understand. I was talking to pretty much like an auntie mom about it at the church, and people. I don't think people understand what unwavering faith means, like the whole, like what it really means. And we were talking about it, and it's almost like you're kind of crazy. Like that's what it seems like to a person that's in the world, and only a certain type of person will understand it. Now, again, it is not for the weak. It is not. But this is why you have to submit. That's why you gotta submit to the Most High, because if you don't, then it's gonna be a lot of um, not wanting to do it, or lack of obedience, because that's God's money right there. That's his currency. That's what he strives on, is obedience. And I mean, if you're not being obedient to God, then you're serving yourself or the world. And to have faith like that, just knowing that you don't have to worry about it, it's hard for most people, especially when they're. I think that's why isolation and being pulled away from the people that I was once around. I feel like that's why that was so important, because being around those people would have pushed out my blessing, because it's the negative influences. Like that's the thing. It's the negative influences, and you you can't have you can't know in your heart that something is meant for you because God said, and be around worldly people, or just people that don't have that faith that you have, to to be able to focus on the goal. And yeah, I was kind of talking to the wife last night, and the more I think now that I listen, we are the complete opposite. Like 100%. Like the complete opposite. I'm not gonna say what the things are, but I find them funny. Um, they're not a lot of things, but some things are funny, because it's like my uh yeah, I don't want to put them out there, because that's kind of a me and her conversation. But some people always like to go, go. This needs to be done. This needs to be done. This needs to be done. But there is no peace in that. There is no peace in constantly moving and doing things with our power. And I mean, at the end of the day, what power do we have? I mean, besides a little bit of influence on another person, But see, and that's where it gets tricky because if you have a person that are operating under something else, right? And I just use myself as a reference. Somebody could try to use me, and I would let them think that they're using me and continue to go on, but then they would get pooped on because it doesn't work like that. But you only have so much influence, and then if you have somebody that is, let's just say, working with the demonic, I was just crafty at being a heathen. I was just, I guess, good at being a Gentile, and well, I thought I was good because you have somebody that's working under the darkness, and they have other things influencing them. Just yourself and your craftiness and how snake like you are, it's not gonna mean anything. It's not gonna do nothing because yeah, it's we don't wrestle with flesh or principalities, things unseen things and things we can't whoop, and that's the scary part. Like that really is the scary part. Like we have really no comprehension of what's going on when it comes to anything. Like besides what we see, we just don't know. But back to the unwavering faith, like it's almost to me it's almost the same thing as blind faith. Like you just kind of, but I only say that because that was my experience. That I don't have any other reference point, but that's why testimonies are so important because I know what he did with me was something different. Like how do you go from being a legit, how do you go from being a drug addict 5 years ago to having a two-bedroom apartment, your friend getting sober, your only friend at the time, your only friend getting sober, your mom getting sober, yourself getting sober, getting your kid back, getting married, and moving with custody of the kid. Like that's a lot, and that's just like a little bit. That's not even like the in between stuff. There was so much stuff it was like going on. And I was thinking, there was I was talking to the auntie mom, whatever, the good one, and I'll say the church one, and we were talking about like the voice of God, and I was talking to her about like what he sounds like to me, and then she was like, "So is it audible?" And I was like, "No, it's not audible. It's like in my head type thing, but I know it's not me, and I know it's not because there's a difference. So there's me, there's the Most High, and then there's the devil. But then there's also me that is like old me, and none of them are audible. Now she said she heard God's voice audible one time. Well, I don't know about one time, but the time she was talking about where it woke her up out of her sleep, and it was very audible. And he said her name, and I was like, "Yeah, I ain't never heard it like audible. I mean, I've heard my voice, but it ain't been that like that. Nothing like that, because it's a different kind of peace. It's a different kind of understanding too. Like I feel like I think everybody just needs to see God. That's the main rundown. is everybody needs to get to know God because I mean there's nothing here. That's what that is. There's nothing here. So there's nothing here, and then we think we know everything and all this other stuff. What happens when stuff really does get bad? What happens then? Stuff just gets really bad. I think you're gonna try to lean on your own devices to save yourself, which I mean, I understand saving yourself to a certain limit, but I mean, I am willing to go see the king. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I expect to live a whole life. Like back in the day, like no, I was like shooting for like 20, 21, and then it was like shooting for 30, and then now, now that I'm well, I hit 30, and now that I'm 34. It's like, well, now I think I could live a whole meaningful life, and I'll be like thinking about just people and how far in the world they actually are. And that's the scary part is I'm not like the best like at all. Like I don't try to make it seem like I'm the best because I'm not. There's a lot of things I need to work on. Um, Discipline, I think, is going to be the thing of the year. I'm pretty sure it's going to be discipline. And anyways, I keep getting sidetracked. Unwavering faith. So you're gonna look like a crazy person. You are. You're gonna look like a crazy person, and that's why God took me away from all the nonsense and whatnot, whatnot. Hey, mind you, I'm reading the Bible and praying high. Not all the time, but I would be high at times. But it was very like very low, and it's very hard. It's very hard to. It's hard to start praying, and that goes for anybody that doesn't have a relationship with God. It's hard praying, but that's a I think that's just a human thing, like a human condition, where it's like not good enough, and that's why we stay away from God because we don't feel that we're good enough, right? So if if I'm feeling like that, and I don't think that I'm good enough, why would I why would and this is just the thought process, why would I bring myself to something that is all knowing, and everybody knows this, all knowing, and created everything, knows all, knows your heart, knows your mind, all that. Even people that don't believe in God has that's an argument. Oh, if he knows, that sounds crazy, even saying that out of my mouth. But if he knows all this, why would he allow it to happen? That's the common argument. So, because you're saying if he knows it all, you're still acknowledging that he knows it all. Like you're still acknowledging it. And God doesn't control us necessarily 100% because we have free will. And people say, oh, well, you can't use the free will. Yeah, you can. Like, At any moment, I could go do something stupid. Like, I could turn a dang eye on and stick my hand on it. I could hit myself with a fire poker because that's free will. Now, do you know not to do that? Yeah. Now, if you weren't taught, maybe, but why would you hurt yourself? That's the thing. And it'd be a lack of knowledge that people don't. Well, it's not a lack of knowledge. It isn't a lack of knowledge, but because because of shame and guilt, people and fear, they don't lay everything down at the altar. That's why they don't do it. Because I don't. I know, and I've met a lot of gay people that believe in God, not follow God, but they believe that God is real. Now, when you talk to them about God, they be kind of like standoffish because they know that that is like you're living in sin. But we all live in sin. That's why I explained to them. And then that's like the best way I can like go into my testimony because just because you're gay, don't just think that just because you're gay that just exiles you. No, that's not the case. But you do have to turn from your ways. Me, I used to beat women. I used to do all kinds of stuff. I was a horrible person. Now I don't do those things. If I continue doing all the things that I once did, then it wouldn't matter. And I would be scared to talk to God or pray. Because back when I was like really in the world, I used to like be terrified of trumpets. Like that was always something that like terrified me. If I ever heard of like a trumpet or something like a horn and like coming from the sky, I'd kind of freak out because I knew back then I was going to hell. There's no pass, go straight to jail. That was terrifying. Now, I mean, not now. If I go to hell, I go to hell. But I don't think I would go to hell, and it's not my place. I'm supposed to just do what I'm supposed to do, and not just be a good person. Works don't get you into heaven. You have to build a relationship with the Most High, and I think that's why I push so hard with talking to homeless people in Portland and people that were on drugs because, bro, I was on drugs. Like, I was right there. Like, and that's why I always just tell them, like, I know exactly how you feel. I was right there, like, 3 years ago, or whatever time limit it was. I just hit 4 years sober on the 19th. Well, last month on the 19th. And like being like all the way sober because I'm not on Suboxone or nothing. I'm like I think a year off that or something like that. And it's crazy, like being all the way sober. I haven't been sober in like forever. Like not drinking, no beer. A beer every once in a while sounds nice, but then it'd be like, nah. Then I'm gonna get all bloated. I'm already trying to like drop weight. I dropped a little bit, but I'm kind of like just staying 215, 220. I'm just short and fat. It's all right, but I don't look disgusting though. But the unwavering faith is you're gonna look like a crazy person, which is fine. It's completely fine. Just continue to praise the Most High, read, pray. You know these things. Nobody's gonna understand it unless somebody has done that walk and done those things. It's gonna look like blind faith, and it's not gonna make sense to the average person, which is fine. It's totally fine, and it's normal. It really is because auntie at the church was just she was talking about it and she was like, everybody that finds Christ had to get to that point where it was that type of faith. There's nothing else. When you come to a point where there's nothing else, and it's the there's a thing in war. It's called like foxhole something, and when you get pinned down, you're about to die. And almost every guy that got pinned down and was in a platoon said the same thing. Everybody would pray to God. Everybody, atheists, Buddhists, everybody. If you don't believe in God, and I think it's amazing. If you don't believe in God and you're an atheist and all these things, why would you pray to God? Because you know He's real. Or He comes to you like, "Hey, man, it's not looking good." Because I think everybody's been in that situation where they've put themselves in a situation like, "God, you need to help me with this one. I kind of messed it up. I'm sorry." And you know, you just kind of beg real quick. Well, it's not even begging; it's pleading. It's pleading to not be destroyed. And I mean, I've been in that situation a couple times, and I just didn't. Yeah, it's fear. But then I think about like my past and all those things, and I had to go through most of those things because if I didn't go through those things, no matter how bad they were, no matter how, no matter how bad I was to other people or if other people were to me, if I didn't go through those experiences, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be the person I am now, being able to talk freely about past things or any of those things. I wouldn't be able to. Yeah, I mean, the unwavering faith is like amazing because once you get like in tuned, I guess you could say that like back in the day they had the radios that you had to like find the actual station. There was no button. You had to like, and once you actually got the radio station, you were like, oh, accomplishment. Once you get that connection, that type of connection with God, you are all the way fine with kind of not doing nothing. Like legit, you don't have to do anything. You just have to be there. That's you just have to be present. That is it, legit. You just have to be present. And I think that scares the average person. And I think that's why people can't understand it because they're like, why aren't you doing more? Why aren't you trying to? Because it's not my fight. This isn't my fight. I'm here. That's it. And if God feeds the crows, feeds the birds, and we're made in His image, what more would He do for us? That's in a song somewhere, and that's also in the Word. But He would do more for us because we are made in His image. And you know, what more could you want? Like you really can't lose there. What was it? First Chronicles, I think 28:20, and it's David talking to Solomon, and he had said like basically don't fear nothing. That's what he was talking about. Don't fear nothing because my God got you. That is God. That's the Most High. He got you because my God basically has brought me through everything. Legit. When you look at all the poopy situations you've been in and all those things, yeah, he's brought you through these things. And I think I think people don't want to look crazy. I think that's the part. Like legit, that's the part. Is people want to be viewed a certain way, but that could be like just like a human like defect type deal. Cause see, my thing is, I don't care what I look like. I don't care what I look like at all. My actions, my actions that I'm doing, the way that I think, I know it's not anything wicked or anything that's pride is something. Pride is something that I watch myself a lot with because you can be doing what God wants you to do and do something prideful, and he'll slap the back of your neck. Hey man, what you doing? But I try very hard not to be prideful or just to be messy. Um, yeah, I tread very lightly on doing things, even saying things to people. Sending text messages, like you got to watch how you respond to people because, like, when he says, like every word will like be accounted for, basically. When if I know if I know what I'm saying is going to affect this person this type of way, that is a check. Why'd you do that? There's no reason for you to do that. And you did it for no reason. You did it to hurt this other person, which is pride, which is not of the Most High, and that's not what I want. I don't want to be. I don't want to be a person that gets lost and is just prideful. And oh well, look at that. Now, there's times where I mean, I'll say things like, "Well, these are in like the back rooms, and I'm just, mm, I don't know, maybe that's arrogance. I'd be on here just thinking, man. I'd be on here, just doing that. But I will say that no, that's not arrogance because throughout my whole court process getting my daughter, it was always I know who I serve. I serve the Most High. I'm not worried about it. I'm not. I'm not worried about it. And even being like in the world, I remember I remember my daughter. My daughter was being born, and I didn't talk. I didn't. My baby mom broke up with me, and I didn't talk to her for I think like a month before our daughter was born because I would call her every day, even though we was broke up. Called her every day and tried to check on the baby. It was always, it was always real short and how the baby fine and all that. That's cool. I'm I'm trying. I'm attempting because I want to be involved in my baby. Like I do. Like I miss my whole daughter's up like stomach getting bigger and all that. I missed the whole pregnancy, and then I didn't call the last month because I figured she was just gonna take the baby and run, which is fine, I guess. But it's not. So she called me when she was giving birth, and then she's attempting to whatever, and they were like the baby because she didn't come out, and then like she was like having like complications, and they were like, oh, the baby's heart rate is dropping, and then she started freaking out, and I was like, calm down, like I'm just in there like chill, I'm in there chill, and I'm like, yeah, relax. And she was like, what? And I was like, God, and I should have knew that then. I need to tell my wife that. I should have knew that then. I told her, God is not finna have me wait this long and me lose my baby. That's what I told her. She kicked me out the room. I brought up God, and she kicked me out the room. Boy, hey, I should have knew better. I should have knew better. But that's just being in the world, you know. What are you getting up for, sucker? Let's get some water. This nigga's drinking like 2 gallons a day. Whatever. She was nosy. That's fine though. Hey, I'm calling this and train this bad boy. You feel me? Finna get that. Pew! That's why I'm gonna get me one of those. Just because I'm feeling snazzy, I'm feeling like one of those guys. But and Blind Faith too. That one's kind of different. So with me and my wife talking, I don't know. I think it was maybe I don't know, maybe like 8 months in, right? Because I already knew I was gonna marry her. Like that was established like second, third month. Like that was a wrap. So ladies, if you are with somebody and they have not proposed to you within the first 3 months, because I've done studies, ask anybody that you know that are married that didn't string them along for years. If they strung them along for years, they didn't have no intentions on marrying them. They just did it. A man knows if we're gonna marry you within 3 months, three, easy, 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 and so I'd say like after like 8 months, someone just like, oh, move up there. Hmm. Then I can't remember. I can't remember if we talked about it or how that even how that even came up. But I think she was saying something about moving back to Portland, and I was like, no, we finna move up there. I'm pretty sure that's how it went down. I need to ask her when she gets back to the house, because I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And just moving states is a lot to me, but then it's not. But it is because I'm like taking my daughter, and mind you, this is before I even had sole custody. Like I'm already planning getting married, marrying this woman that's out of state, schools and all types of stuff up there. I'm already planning on me winning custody because there was no doubt in my mind that I was going to lose. There was no doubt. There's too much time that that I had that I had waited. Now, could my daughter have grown? Okay, yeah. Would she be the woman that she's growing into now? No. My daughter speaks tongues now. My daughter has almost straight A's. Like she's in honors. She does band. All these things. I don't. She wouldn't be able to do that in Portland. She wouldn't. Like she was struggling out there. I mean, not like the work, but a little bit. But it was also the environment that she was coming from, and moving into the type of environment that I have, which you go from a house that has three other siblings. Well, let's just say two other siblings because the last one wasn't born. But you have two other siblings and a dysfunctional couple. And then you have me, where I'm kind of, just by myself, don't deal with the family, um, just in the word. I need to get back more in the word, but the environment is, I think, the biggest chunk. And if if you're raising your kids in dysfunction, you're only gonna that's all you're gonna know. That's it. That's all you're gonna know. And having all these kids, having having kids out of wedlock, not being married and having kids with multiple people, that is showing your kids that that is normal and that is okay. And on top of that, you got four. If you know, you know. Mm-mm-mm. That would be you're teaching your lineage that that's okay, and that's how life goes. Nah, not for me, and that's the reason why I only had one kid. Because I mean, on top of that, that messed me up so bad. I'm not gonna have any more kids and mess up my not mess up my lineage, but I want to be involved in everything my children are doing, hands down. I want to be involved in everything that they're doing. I want to be active in their lives because what it seems like, well, it's not even what it seems like. It's what it is. The world wants to drain people to where they can't raise their kids. So eventually, and then people go the easy way of raising their kids, where it's just, oh, go watch TV. Okay, if they're watching TV for X amount of time a day, and you're not paying attention to what they're watching to or watching, they can be getting taught and influenced by anything. So if everything that they're watching is, oh, well, if everything they're watching is a whole bunch of dysfunction, what do you think that they're going to think life is? Or, like, say they always get whatever they want in the show. I've noticed that too. That drives me crazy. A kid will whine and whine and whine and whine until they get whatever it is. No, not the case. Not the case. You don't give them nothing. Nothing. You have less patience than a child. That is ugly work. That can't be a thing. It can't be a thing. Because what that means is you aren't the parent. And the kids can essentially get and do whatever they want because they don't respect your boundary and they're not listening. Not good. Now, all that can change. It all can change. But you have to put the time in. Everything good is hard. Everything that is good for you is hard. Everything takes time. And you're going to fail. Period. There's no way around it. You're going to fail. So, I mean, if you look at anything, it comes to working out, whatever, getting your eating better to get your health. You're gonna have to do a lot of things you don't like. Getting smarter and doing all the reading, going to school, getting a trade. These are all things that take time, and they're not easy. They're all hard. Everything is hard because you can put it in any category. Doesn't matter if it's physical, if it's mental, if it's spiritual. Everything is hard. Everything. And what it seems like it's making it's draining the parents, and then in return, it's making the kids weak because the parents are getting so drained that they don't feel like they have the time to raise. And yeah, no, I'm not believing that. Like all the stuff I've been all the stuff I've been doing. What you have to fix yourself. Like you gotta fix yourself because if you don't fix yourself, boy, I tell you, you can't you can't teach anything. Like if you can't take criticism, uh, and the if you can have a listening ear and understanding, you are going to have a hard time. Period. A hard time. Because I mean, it's quite simple, but it's putting that work in. One of the big things is I didn't do this, but people say it works. Get a piece of paper. Get a piece of paper and write down your good traits. Your good traits. And somebody that you trust, give that to them. Not somebody that you trust, but somebody that won't lie to you. And a lot of people don't have those people. A lot of people like uh, like bootlickers, and let that person look over the list and critique it. And oh well, if I'm a good listener, no, you're not a good listener. Let them do that or rate it, and then write the things down that you need to work on. But you have to have an honest mind and an honest heart to do that. If you don't have if you're not honest with yourself, and that's why people don't do transformations. Is that's what that's what I would say. I would say that I transformed myself twice, and I mean a lot of people will go their whole life and not think that anything's wrong with them. I would be a fool to think that nothing was ever wrong with me. It wouldn't work. I'd be in the same spot because oh, there's nothing wrong with me. I don't need to change. Negative. There's a lot wrong with you, sir. You need to change a lot. I didn't need to go to therapy and all those things for a person to tell me that I was flawed in these areas. Nah, bro, you're a piece of work and you're kind of a disgusting person. Now, have I done a lot of foul stuff? Yes. And I don't know what it was, but I think I was probably like 19 and I just I didn't want to cheat anymore. I think that's what it was. I think I wanted to like actually like build myself into being a into a potential husband. Now, didn't believe in marriage back then, but I knew it was a possibility. Did I see it for me? No. I knew people got married, and marriages I seen were cool, but I think it was for me. Did I think I was ever gonna find somebody? No, not at all. But yeah, I mean, because I was like a really bad cheater, and yeah, always had multiple women. Like that was the thing for years. Like for a long time, and I yeah, one day I was just kind of like, what is wrong with me? Like legit, like out loud. I asked myself, what is wrong with me? And what I did, and this is something that a lot of people have a hard time with. I isolated myself, like legit, like was like locked in my sister's room for like a month. I mean, I'd come out and like get like some weed or something. That's back when I was still smoking. I'd go out and get like a bag of weed, come back, but that was it. I wasn't doing nothing else, and I had to redo my mind to why was I like that? And when you're in those when you're in those silent thoughts, that's where everything really starts to get going. I know my conversations be like super random, but it's all about self healing. It's really not necessarily for the masses of people. I kind of do this as like a diary for my kids, you know, because I am going to be gone, and hopefully YouTube's still here. But my kids can watch it when they get old enough. Hopefully they don't watch it when they're kids, but it is what it is. But yeah, no, and yeah, these are the things that I actually had to go through. Like, but reprogramming your own mind is something different. I would say it's way better than somebody else, somebody else doing it because it's always gonna be like, what do you mean? Like, you don't even know me. You don't know my situation. You don't know none of that. You're just a person that got a piece of paper saying this. But when you do it yourself, it's different. It really is different. But yeah, praise the Most High. I ain't got nothing else. I'm just rambling.